Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the podcast Sitting Tall with me, Casey Ellen, and my buddy Tony Chamberlain. And today we have a little guest, a little special St. John's. I feel like I go to the St. John's well a lot, but this is a good buddy of mine from back in the day, Mr. Chris Bonelli. He has a pretty interesting story we'd like to share. And we're just going to get a little bit into He came down with COVID about like 2.5 years ago. And
July
I'm gonna
18, 21.
So I'm going to let him get into a little bit of the details because it's just his story to tell, and just to see him from where it went to where it went. Just the story is just pretty fucking awesome. So here we go, Tony. Nice to get
It's
to meet my
pretty
boy
fucked up
Chris.
but fucking awesome.
Yeah. Hey man, listen. Our stories are a little fucked up too, but wait, we're still here, and that's all. That's all that matters, right? So Chris, without further ado,
Mhm.
give us a little bit of a little synopsis of the story.
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. Name's Christopher Bonelli, and I went through a pretty life-changing experience it started July 18, 2021, and that was the time that Delta variant was very high. And
Mm-hmm.
as we all know, the Delta variant, very low percent of survival rate,
Mm-hmm.
but only lasted for 2 months, the Delta variant.
Okay.
So the people that got it, most of them died, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to the Omicron or the first wave.
Okay.
So the Delta variant was stronger. It was a different. There was the vaccine that came out for it wasn't the same as the first wave that came out. So it attacked the body differently, let's just say, and then it kind of just disappeared. Still to this day, I mean, doctors don't know much about it. But
Yeah.
long story short, July 18, 2021 was when it started, but let's go a little bit backwards, right? Let's go to the previous events.
Okay.
I was engaged. I was living in Fort Lauderdale, beautiful rooftop apartment complex.
That is very true.
Everything you needed.
Mm-hmm.
I was making good money in my personal training business. I was making a good living. Me and her lived together, and I decided, hey, let's invite all of our friends and family to Key West. And I rented out. I actually rented out this house that was on Airbnb, not knowing that it was where President Truman called for the atomic bomb to drop,
Oh
and it
shit.
was right there. That in that house he did that, and I didn't know it was the house. Is a huge house. It's talking 10 grand for 3 days, right? So
Yeah.
went there.
Wow.
Yeah, so went there, invited 26 of our friends and family. She's from Tampa. My friends are from New York, right? So my
Yeah.
brother and friends flew down, and I had something all set up so we could arrive there July 15th. I surprised her with a proposal, and she accepted. Everybody was in on it. She was very happy. So was I. Um, Everybody went out that night to Key West, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the bars. And then the next day, everybody wanted to do like a pool party at the house.
Yeah.
I didn't partake. I was feeling really fatigued,
Mm-hmm.
tired, like I was content with just laying down. I didn't think
Yeah.
anything of it. Sunday came, everybody's hungover, so I opted to drive people home. So last thing was I drove my brother and his friends to the airport in Miami. So Key West is about 2 hours from Miami, 4 hours from where I lived.
Yeah.
So I drove from Key West to Fort Lauderdale, and the last thing I remember was dropping off my brother in Miami. That was on July 15th. Yeah. I guess I went to sleep. I woke up September 11, 2021.
Oh shit.
Oh
So
wow.
55 days later.
So you
Not
just
knowing
totally
what.
like blacked out, like nothing.
Yes, I'll get to that because I
Oh.
was told what happened. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. Oh, I gotta put my wear an Apple Watch. It keeps my blood oxygen and heart rate.
Yeah.
It's not on. It's fine. I'm good. But I woke up that day and I didn't have any sort of reaction. I mean, you think when you wake up in the ICU and you have a trach tube coming out, you have the tube going down your throat,
Mm-hmm.
that you were on a ventilator, right? And then you had a lung tube going through these ribs into my lungs, another lung tube here, and a lung tube here. And then you have a peg tube, which is where they feed you, not
Yeah.
through your nose, but straight into your stomach, which
Hmm.
required surgery, right? And I wake up and I'm just like looking around like this. I can't move. Yeah, so I'm just like, and then there was a note that kind of explained everything in not detail, but it was posted on the window because I woke up in the middle of the night. It's posted on the window. Relax. This is temporary. Da 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 da. Right. Um.
Just a note.
Right.
Just,
And then in the hospital, Casey, like they, there's no time. There's no clocks. Right.
mhm.
So I don't know what time it is. I don't know when they come in at like 4 a.m. Start taking blood. Nobody's talking to me until they see that I'm awake.
Mhm.
And my fiance at the time was a nurse in this hospital. She was in the emergency room. However, I was in ICU because of COVID. She couldn't come visit me. And every nurse that came in the ICU or doctors, they're wearing double masks, face
The whole
this.
the whole
So I
get.
can't see shit. I can't see who I'm talking to, what they look like. I can't speak, you know.
Yeah.
So what the hell is going on? I look to my right and left, and there's just in the full of the ICU people my age, between the ages of 25 and 40. I was 31. Were in the same situation as me, but they were
Hmm.
all in a coma still. Usually for comas, after 3 weeks, you're kind of, we're
Yeah.
talking about pulling the plug type of stuff,
Like
right?
vegetable.
Vegetable status.
Yeah.
I was I was in 55 days, so we're talking about shoot, almost 8 weeks, right?
That's like 2 months.
I was in
Almost 2 months. Yeah.
almost 2 months that I was in it.
Yeah.
3% chance of survival rate. Everybody's preparing, you know, for like
For the
funeral of my
worst.
family and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I magically woke up. I was the only survivor in that hospital throughout those 2 months,
Oh shit.
2.5 months, because had to do some recovery there.
Yeah.
So I don't know why me.
Mhm.
You could say divine intervention. You could say because I was physically fit
Mhm.
beforehand, and so. But I'll get into that later too. Again, long story short, I did what I had to do to get out, not go to rehab, but go home.
Mhm.
And I recovered slowly, but I had to learn how to walk, talk, eat, breathe. Um, I was addicted to everything you could ever think of because I had 24/7 trips of fentanyl, Versed,
Yeah.
ketamine. You know how it is, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. They give you all the.
they
They give you
just
all the good.
push this all into your body. Yeah,
They
all
give
the
you the
good
goods.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then they push this into your body. You come out and you're addicted to everything. And then the doctor gives you Percocet, right, for 2 months, and now you're going through withdrawals from everything.
Yeah.
Um, while you're trying to recover. So it's just like I can't win, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to learn how to walk, talk, breathe. I couldn't do all activities of daily living. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
bathe myself. I couldn't go to the bathroom on my own. Um, I had to like piss in one of those urinal things, because I couldn't walk to the bathroom. I was,
Yeah.
wheelchair bound for a while. Still, I couldn't eat. I lost 92 pounds. I went from 190, not 92, but I went from 192 all the way down to 104 in
Oh
the course of
Jesus.
time.
Yeah.
So from almost being on the cover of Mental Health Fitness magazine, I was in first place,
I
ready
remember.
to
I
win
remember
20
that.
grand. Right? I was all
I
over
remember.
Instagram.
Yeah. All over. I remember that.
I was ready to be, on the magazine, win my 20 grand. It's great. I wound up coming in fourth place because I can no longer promote because I
Yeah.
was not awake.
Yeah. You
So
weren't really there.
yeah, shit happens, right? But
That's it, man.
I went from that. That took 6 years of hard work, and then I went down to losing everything. I lost everything. I actually hit rock bottom over time because nobody really understands the. All right, you survived COVID. Great. You got to go through your recovery. Awesome.
Hmm.
They don't know how hard it is because it's very hard.
Yeah.
Um, because of muscle memory, my body gained the weight and the muscle back rather quickly.
Hmm.
Um, and so I remember weighing, and I have pictures that will be shown. I remember weighing myself around 6 months after, and I was 198.
Oh, wow, you put it on
Um,
pretty quick.
I put it on quick, right?
Yeah.
And that stunned everybody, stunned the doctors. I kept stunning the doctors over and over again, because they told me you're probably gonna die if you don't go to rehab and you try and do this on your own.
Hmm.
Well, family friend had physical therapist that came to the house twice a week. And with my previous, I think the discipline that I had of waking up, going to the gym, and going to work, and the fact that I worked for myself, that all requires discipline, right? So that
Yeah.
I had discipline to, all right, Chris, you gotta learn how to do all this stuff again, and
Yeah.
you could do it. You have the knowledge, you can do it. You just need the support.
Hmm.
Um, and ultimately, here I am. So obviously, I did it right. And then nobody understands the adversities you face afterwards. Your physical, you could look great after, right?
Yeah.
But this kind of comes later because you're focused on, all right, I gotta get back to normal. I gotta, do
Did
what
you
I gotta do
experience
to be.
did you experience like the brain fog thing that like, with the
Dude,
memory?
I still experience the brain fog.
Yeah, I've heard that lingers for a little while.
So yeah, I got diagnosed with long COVID. Um,
Hmm.
it's weird to explain, but it takes me about an hour to an hour and a half to wake up fully.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 hours to wake up fully, right?
Like
For the
get
broad
mentally.
brain
Yeah.
fog, right? Because you wake up and then there's always that worry that I have now is, am I gonna wake up with tubes coming out of my body again? You
Yeah,
know?
it's a very rational fear, man. Because me and Tony, like how you said with the discipline, like we were both athletes before our accident, so like, yeah, that helped us get like, as much back as we could. So you know what I mean, like that, and that's why it's good that you had the discipline that you had because you were able to, put on that muscle, put on, to get healthy back, and to kind of do like what the doctor said you couldn't do on your own, but you were able to do that on your own because of the discipline and the
Well,
like
they
kind of
said
how you
if I
had
don't go to
routines.
rehab, I die.
Yeah, yeah. And look where you are right now. You
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
They gave me this. I don't know, man. I had 20 different doctors. One doctor was just like in charge of it all. He wasn't the nicest guy. He would come in and be like, "Everybody's still alive? Okay, good." Like he wouldn't even come close to you. I
We know
swear
what
to
you mean. Going to a hospital, I feel like you're always talking to like a million different doctors, and each one has like their own opinion on stuff. And it's just like you
uh-huh.
just gotta understand that you know your body, you know what's going on. Like, yeah, this is a new thing that you probably went through. Nobody's ever gone through the whole COVID thing, you know what I mean? At least we had support because we've gone through this with other people that've gone through the spinal cord injury, you know what I mean? But like in
Right.
your case, nobody's really ever
Yeah,
survived that. So it's like who do you turn to? You know what
yeah,
I mean?
And it's not like I don't know if nobody's ever survived that. It's just that nobody has come out and spoke about it.
yeah.
Well,
Sure.
yeah,
I
that's what
feel
I
like
mean.
there's a couple, yeah, exactly, like,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I know people who knew family members that came out of what I came out of, but at
yeah,
the end of the day, they didn't get out of that wheelchair. They didn't try to walk again. They didn't try to change their mindset. They either A,
mm,
got addicted to the drugs and kept, they didn't fight the addiction, the withdrawals, they succumbed to it, or B, they just lived the rest of their life as it is and accept it, like this is who I
yeah.
am now. right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And be depressed for the rest of their life, or C, they end up killing themselves.
Yeah.
And I've had in Florida at least a lot of people knew people who knew people that
Mm-hmm.
went through that,
Yeah.
and I know there's still people going through that,
Yeah.
and it sucks
Yeah.
because when I was going through it, I was trying to get a support group. There was none to be found, so
Yeah.
I couldn't
Hmm.
even talk to anybody about what I was going through.
Yeah.
And
That's why it
anyone I
seems like
spoke to
you was in
wouldn't
like
understand.
a unique, you were in a like a unique experience because like I said, that's what I mean. Like me and Casey have a little different experience. Like we can reach out to people that have spinal cord injuries, but in your case, not
Right.
everybody went through what you went through. So it's like when you're trying to find or navigate through what you went through and try to find support, there's really not much out there. And we didn't know much about like COVID, like as a as a whole with everybody. So like when you hear the that you went through the variants or whatever, and you get sick, and like I said, you don't know anybody to reach out to. It's just like okay, now in your mind you're like okay, how do I deal with this without the support? So like at least we had support, you know what I mean? But it's a little
Yeah.
different, I think, in your case.
I
A
remember
hundred percent, and I
me and you,
agree. I
Chris.
agree with that. Yeah,
Remember how I feel like you and I started talk like we started talking a little bit, and I feel like
we kind of
I,
rebuilt our friendship. Yes,
yeah, I
through
feel like it
this.
was able to kind of like I feel like you needed someone to talk to, and like I feel like we just kind of reconnected and like kind of there for each other because like even though a spinal cord injury and COVID aren't like the same, but like there's similar things like you have the trach like not many people can relate to you about having a trach, but you're
I
both
never thought in
you
my
know
life that I would have that.
the
Hmm.
hey, you didn't think, you know what I mean? Like Tony and I never, you never think in our lives like we'll be wheelchair bound for the rest of our lives, But
Hmm.
and I'm kind of glad that we were able to kind of reconnect, and I feel like I was kind of there when you needed like an ear every once in a while if you just needed to chat.
I mean, dude, honestly, and I feel like I told you this. I don't remember if I did, but there's been times where I just wanted to jump off my balcony, right? Just I'd hang one leg over, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
do it. I'd think about
Hmm.
it, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't do that because I know the outcomes it would happen to my family, my friends, my
Yeah.
close ones. And whenever we spoke, you kind of, without knowing, talked me out of doing that.
Well, glad I was able to help. I
Because
had no I
yeah,
yeah.
you were kind of. I mean, you were a big factor in me going forward and not giving up because I would see your Instagram, we would speak, and I'm like, this man went through this, and I'm like, this happened to the nicest guy ever at such a young age, right? And if he could get through this, I could get through this.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna be the 90% that gives up.
Yeah.
And with talking to you, changed my mindset, changed my positive outcome, positive thinking.
Yeah.
Um, and I embraced everything you said to me. And, in a way, you technically saved my life, without
Yeah.
knowing, and
Oh,
I
cut it out,
appreciate you for
man.
that. You were a huge
Hey.
inspiration. So yeah, we did. That's how we developed our connection again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That was
the
I'm just
mental is hard.
yeah, bro.
Mental's really hard.
I feel like that's the word. Even for
It
Tony and
is the
myself,
worst.
like the mental part is the hardest part of it all. Like physically, like like obviously it sucks being in a chair and everything, but not being able to like mentally, if I didn't have my brain with me, or like some people like are TBIs or brain injuries, like I I'd much rather be physically impaired than mentally impaired, just because like physical we can figure it all out, like there's
Right.
things that could help assistance, but like memory and brain and all that kind of jazz, like not being yourself, like dude.
So I wasn't myself. I'll be completely honest. I was found, and this is how I went to the emergency room because I was awake for 3 days doing normal shit. You know, I don't remember what
Without
I was
knowing.
doing.
Oh jeez.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
This was before I went into a coma.
Yeah.
So I don't remember driving after Miami home. I don't remember the
Yeah.
next 2 days. Apparently, I got tested for COVID. I became positive. She was negative, apparently I was taking medication for it. And I went to another testing site, and then I went to the gym, and I did this, I did that, until it was 4:45 a.m. I'm heard in the living room yelling at my mom on the phone, like, "Where the fuck are you? You're supposed to be here," not making any sense. And then
Mm.
my pulse ox read 59% oxygen. So
Oh.
I wasn't there. And that's
Definitely
why I don't
not.
remember anything. I took videos, pictures, I look back, and I'm like, I don't remember taking this. I was taking videos on the ventilator, not a ventilator, PAP,
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
BiPAP. And that was what I was first put on. I'm sending text messages with this. I don't remember any of that. And not only did that happen, when I got out of everything and I physically recovered, like you were saying, my brain started going through it, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when I got taken off of Cymbalta. I don't know if you guys ever taken Cymbalta.
Mm-mm.
It's
Is that like it's like a nerve pain
it's
medication or something?
antidepressant.
Oh, okay.
Antidepressant.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's an antidepressant they put me on while I was in a coma, and they were giving it to me every day and then prescribed to me. And I didn't look it up because I was on 14 prescriptions and medications,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, that was the worst withdrawal I have ever been through in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, I went through benzo, I went through opiate, right? All that stuff.
Yeah.
I went through this anti-anxiety antidepressant,
Mm-hmm.
SSNRI. That was by far the worst because my brain and then my psychiatrist said your life is gonna get messy. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? My life is already a mess, and it got messy. I was
It's-
under. It was felt like my brain was under construction for 6 weeks.
yeah. Yep.
So my mom, I was waking up in the middle of the night, apparently taking medications that weren't taken at the right time. I would miss half a day and then wake up. Not wake up, but I was awake. But I wasn't aware of what was going on. I was unconscious,
Physically
awake,
awake, but not like mentally awake.
not mentally awake. And it's like I would
Yeah.
come to and be like, what am I doing? So my
Mm-hmm.
mom had to fly down, and she witnessed this for about 3 weeks, and that went on for a good 6 months.
Sheesh, man.
Nobody knows why because I have no brain damage. There's no nothing. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
one of the things that COVID does that's unexplainable,
fucking
right?
It's like a side
fucking
effect.
fucking COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
So many side effects. It's
Yeah, man.
crazy.
I haven't like I don't think I've had anybody close to me experience COVID like this. Like I've had
Mm-hmm.
people who had COVID, but never like to the severity. Because I remember when it happened, and because we were following each other on Instagram for years, and like I'd always see you were like one of the most physically fit people I think I've ever seen. And then when I saw when you it was like you took you down, I was like, holy shit! That made me like scared. I was like, oh shit! I better not get no COVID. I better not get COVID because I'm already like physically like what is
Immune
it?
compromised,
Immune
right?
compromised. Yeah, immune compromised. So then when I saw what happened to you, I was like, oh man! I was like, this dude's like you said, you're about to be on the cover of a freaking fitness magazine. Like it's
Hey
crazy
guys,
how
we'll show you after the
percent
before,
Mm-hmm.
during,
and
and then
after.
now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went
It,
through
and it's crazy when
transformations like you
when you
wouldn't
hear
believe.
people yeah, when you hear people say like COVID's not real or that whenever somebody's like
I
oh
hate it.
COVID's
Oh
not
my
real, I'm
god.
just like I don't understand how people could still say that. That's like climate change isn't real. Like
Because a
like
lot of people are naive, man.
yeah,
They think just because they didn't get it or their family members didn't get it that the shit doesn't happen. But then they don't actually look at the big picture that people that have gone through it has been through a lot most of the time.
millions millions of
You
people
know.
died
Well,
across.
that's at the hospitals. They don't write, COVID. They write complications due to COVID. Like,
Yeah,
okay, you had a heart attack later on. You know, I
yeah,
was
Yeah.
diagnosed with so many things while I was under because of COVID. The reason why I lost all that body mass, I got rhabdomyosis.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you know what that is? No? Okay, so
Sounds like it's like a big word to me.
rhabdo is simply you get it at hospitals while you're sick because your
Mm.
immune system is shot.
Yeah,
And what it does is eats away at your muscle and body fat in 3 to 4 days. So
Oh,
that is
jeez.
why I lost all that weight.
So quickly, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
quick.
went to AFib 4 times. I got septic twice. I had like 2 blood infections.
Wow.
Um, Both my lungs were collapsed. So the left lung collapsed in July, the right lung collapsed in August. I was intubated, and I remember having a weird dream. I don't know if you guys had weird dreams. I had weird fucking dreams
Yeah.
that
Oh,
wound up
dude,
being true.
dude, dude, we
Do
could,
we have weird dreams?
dude, we could, dude. I could tell you some dreams I had on the morphine when I was in the hospital, bro. I could tell you some stories, man.
Oh man, I dreamt. Well, and this was in early August. I only been on the vent on that intubated for about 2.5 weeks, right? So I dreamt that, well, I found out to be one of the nurses, a male charge nurse, and his twin were, I didn't know if he had a twin or not. It's just in my dream he did. And his
He had a
twin were,
he had a fucking twin in the dream. God damn it.
exactly, and they were bad guys. And I was tied down to a red toy car bed, we used to have when we were children, right? So I was tied down to that with ropes, which I'll reveal everything after this. They were putting get water gallon you see at the doctor's office where you get water, one of those
Yeah.
things. They were
Mhm.
putting it like on my face, and I was drowning.
Waterboarder, yeah.
And I would I threw it out like that. I found out after I woke up what actually happened that day. So Danny was the charge nurse. He was the guy that was in my dream. He wasn't a bad guy. Nobody knows if he had a twin brother until I found out he actually has a twin brother.
Shut the fuck up.
That's
I
crazy.
swear to God, I swear. It
What?
Sounds
blew
like you're
my
into the
mind. It
Matrix, man.
blew
That's all I
everybody
gotta say.
else's mind. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
did I go through the other side a little bit and come back
Yeah.
with this?
I mean, a lot of people do say that. They say that like when they die or something, they feel like they're in another space or something like that.
Mhm.
So like, I'm not saying that you died, but I'm saying like
Hospital,
even
I don't
dream
know.
wise, we go other places, like because your spiritual side could be like leaving your body and just going into another space, and you
That
just don't know.
dude, that's insane. And it's
Isn't it
crazy.
crazy?
It's crazy hearing
What's
these.
even
Oh,
more
oh,
insane?
oh shit! Here's more.
Yeah,
There's more.
what's even more insane
You
is me throwing the thing off and me
didn't take the
being
tube
tied
out.
down to a red bed. I
You took the tube out.
self-excavated myself.
Yep.
Yes, I took the tube
Yeah.
out of my throat in my dream,
I did that too.
it made things worse, because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was trying to put the water was him putting a BiPAP on me, and I'm
Oh,
pushing. That was that,
Oh
and the
shit.
tied down to a red car. I was tied down to the hospital
Hospital
bed,
bed. Oh shit.
so I wouldn't do that again. That's when
So they.
things went even more south because I re-intubated for
Yeah.
another fucking 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Then I had to get the trach, and
It's
half in and a half out of the world. You know
it's
what I mean?
so crazy hearing how like the parallels of like the symptoms and the things that you had to go through in the hospital are similar to what Tony and myself had to go through with the spinal cord injury. It's so crazy
Mm-hmm.
how like I guess the healing or injury process or recovery of whatever, they're so similar. Like literally
Yeah.
everything that you said happened like basically
yeah,
happened to me or Tony and or both. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's that's just blows my mind how COVID could be basically like its own version of a spinal cord injury, which is nuts.
Yeah. Like you said it
it
perfectly.
is
It like
completely
runs
nuts.
parallel to it. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, and I've read obviously the
Yeah.
people who've been in comas. Like, what do they experience? Is this normal? Da da da. Some people said they crossed and they. I mean, I came out of it thinking, well, I chose to live for a reason,
Yeah.
and I truly believe what that reason is now is to get my story out there. One, right?
Yeah.
Help, because now I'm all about mental awareness. Help people become self-aware of their mental state and to practice every day some type of mental exercise, whether it be meditation, which I did for a while, whether it be some breathing exercises, walking in nature, or just getting some sunlight. Or I even have this app where I track my daily habits so it becomes a routine, and then
Yeah.
your body automatically wants to do it. I track. I do positive affirmations when I wake up in the morning. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I do, instead of complaining about something when I wake up, I do what I'm grateful for. Practice
Yeah.
gratitude. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, instead of people get into situations and they pray and they're like, oh, please God help me, like, please let me get through this, da da da. Instead of doing that, I changed my
Mm-hmm.
mindset to be like, thank you for giving me the opportunity to breathe on my own,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
doctors said I was going to be on, and I was given a machine, oxygen machine, and a portable
Yeah.
one, and I was on that, and I was going to be on that for the rest of my life, I was told,
Mm-hmm.
because I have permanent fibrosis of the lungs. So for those of you out there, fibrosis is when your lungs are permanently damaged. Like, so people with COPD, they get
Yeah.
fibrosis, but it gradually goes on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then their
Yeah.
lungs start hardening. When
Mm-hmm.
COVID comes, it hits you and it just stays, doesn't grow, doesn't go less. So your lungs are permanently damaged. So when
Mm-hmm.
they would take x-rays and chest x-rays and CAT scans of my lungs, half of them, bottom half were white and the top was clear, which means the
Mm-hmm.
bottom half of my lungs were done.
Yeah.
Hence I needed the oxygen. I went for my previous PFT test and my previous chest x-ray just a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
My lungs completely cleared. Hasn't happened
Oh
to
shit,
anyone. When you have permanent
dude.
fibrosis, not supposed to happen.
I
Cleared,
that
and I
doesn't
got
sound
off
like it's good.
oxygen. Yeah, I was only on oxygen for 18 months.
Yeah.
I don't have it now. And that was through
Dude, it
cardiovascular exercise, I think.
yeah, I mean also probably because you weren't just gonna sit there and let it happen. You were, like you said, you were doing breathing exercises, doing all those types of stuff, trying to help it out. That's crazy that your lungs are able to heal like that. Like, dude, fuck yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I say to people, like, listen, yeah, I know the doctor said this, but doctors don't know everything,
No,
They
and
definitely
some
don't.
doctors think
no,
some think things of other doctors, they don't have the same, they have their opinion,
yeah,
they
hmm
don't have facts sometimes. Um, and we all prove them wrong, right?
yeah. Tony and myself
Of
too. They
course.
doctors told us, I was like they said for you that I was supposed to be on a breathing thing. They didn't think I was going to be able to move any part of my body, like
And
so.
I
Like
look at you,
I
you're playing video games and stuff.
yeah, I know, man. I'm out here beating some dudes in Madden yesterday. I can't wait to show people like on video like this. You just lost to a dude playing with fucking how I play.
That's awesome, yeah, and it's great,
It's crazy. The
like
doctors try to limit you. You know what I mean? Or I feel like the doctors read the
they put
textbook
it in your
and
mind.
that's their answer.
They
Yeah,
exactly. They put it in your mind, and then you go out of the hospital, and many people go out of the hospital thinking, "Shit, what this is what the
I
doctor
can't do
said,"
it. Yep, exactly.
Well, just
and
like you
that
said,
word
I think a
"can't."
lot of it's just like a mental thing, man. It's just like, you gotta, if you think that you can't get over whatever's happening, then
Yeah.
that's how you're gonna think. You know what I
hmm
mean? And
Right.
that's not really, that's not really the best place to be in,
You're so right. You're so right. Like
hmm
the what you put out is what you're gonna get. If you put out
Hmm.
hmm
negativity, you're gonna experience negativity. If you put out positive, thoughts, you're gonna experience positivity. It's just simple as that. Because
hmm
I my motto now, my mantra now is basically you. Everybody is dealt a hand.
hmm
Everybody is dealt an obstacle, are faced with challenges.
Yeah.
Some people worse than others, but it's not how you, it's not what you experience through your trauma, right? For you, it was being bound to a wheelchair. For me, it was learning how to do everything all over again, and if I can. So it's not
hmm
your experience that you get. It's not it's not the situation that you're in. It's how you react to the situation that defines you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what happened to you guys, what happened to me, doesn't define the person you are, but it's the way you reacted to it, the response you had to it defines you, and that just makes you stronger mentally and physically than 99% of the population.
I agree
You
100%.
know,
Yeah, I agree on that too.
And so now I'm all about self-advocacy, about mental awareness. Psychology was my major, so
Kind of just
love that shit. Yeah.
kind of.
And
It's
I
like
mean,
everything. It looks like
Hey, you got
honestly,
text
man. It's
message
like
from your younger brother.
everything happens for a reason.
Hey, you got
Like
text message from your younger
and
brother.
like I hate when people say that. Like everything happens for a reason, but it is like look at you. You went to school for psychology, not knowing that you're gonna need it 10 years down the road because of certain because you got COVID, and now like you had
yeah,
a little bit about that, and
Hey,
now
you
look,
got
you're
text
all
message
about
from
the
your
self
younger
advocacy and
brother.
mental and
Hey, you
the
got
mental
text
stuff,
message from
man.
your younger brother.
Huge for us. Like, look how you wake up in the
huge.
morning, you
Nobody
do your mental.
understands.
Bro, I love going to therapy. I go once a week. Like,
I think
I
therapists should see therapists.
yeah. I was actually talking to my therapist about that today. He has a therapist, my therapist. So it was pretty
Exactly. The
funny.
shit that they
Yeah.
hear, they got to talk about that. And
Yeah.
I hate when people say, "No, I don't need therapy. I don't need therapy."
Everybody needs
Everybody
therapy.
needs therapy. It's
Yeah.
a traumatic experience for you and I could be exactly what happened to us, right? But a traumatic experience for somebody that hasn't experienced anything could be an easy bumper to bumper car hit,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they respond to that in panic, nervous way, and kind of leaves a
Yep.
mark on them. Or your
Mm.
father leaving you when you're 12 years old, something like that,
Yeah.
and you never took the time to see a therapist and then figure out why you are the way you are.
There's like you said, fucking see therapy, man. Everybody. I don't know if you do it, Tony,
Especially in
but
today's world.
oh
It's so funny because, like, still to this day, I still haven't seen a therapist. I'm actually planning on doing it though because you do need. I feel like you do need to talk some stuff out because that's going to help you. Unfortunately, I have friends that I talk to that usually kind of ease my mind, so that's why I don't use therapy. But I
yeah.
do. There's some things that I like to talk about, probably like privately, that I will reach out to a therapist at some point. I just haven't done it yet because I don't feel like I'm in an emotional state where I'm gonna like hurt myself or anything like that. So I don't think that I need it. And plus, this, like I say all the time when we're in the podcast, this is kind of like my therapy. When I talk to
Yeah.
people, I
I
like
was just
hearing
gonna
their
say that
stories, and
this
I like,
is
you know what I mean?
this is your
It's like
therapy.
my way. Yeah, this is like
Hmm.
my way of like talking it out with somebody else, like and seeing what they go through, comparing it to me. Even though we always say like comparison is the thief of joy, but when you actually go through it with other people, like that's why I love talking to Case a lot of times because he can really like go through what I go through on a daily basis because we're very similar. But like now we're comparing like you to like what we do, and it's pretty similar. I mean, like we didn't go through COVID or anything like that, but man, that's what you went through is very very similar to what we went through, and it's like you can relate, and that's the whole point, man. You want to just relate with somebody and just get on the same page.
That's why when I
Exactly.
saw when I saw what you were going through, that's why I reached out because it kind of just it looked similar to what I went through, and sometimes it's you just need someone to someone to talk to or someone to reach out and like I didn't really have a lot of people reached out to me after my accident, but like it wasn't really like how are you doing like mentally or like how what I mean, like it was just I don't know. Sometimes you just need a
You were
friend to just
young.
reach
You were
out.
what, 23?
I was
You're
26,
23 now?
26,
26.
26.
I mean, I
Yeah,
feel like, I'm 2, 3 years younger than you. So I
yeah.
feel like at that age, you don't have enough experience.
I
At least
didn't
I
consider
didn't have
myself
enough
a man.
experience.
Like
Yeah,
I was a
exactly.
grown man. I'm a grown man. I had a full time job, lived on my own. But mentally,
But you didn't have the
I was still a boy, man. I was still a little man. I was still a little
still
boy.
partying and shit. Right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I was still getting drunk, going to work the next day. Like I was not a man
That's not
yet.
a man. That's a boy.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, I was
boy.
still a boy. Yeah,
Yeah. So then
I
at
was
that
still
time,
a
like
child.
all of our friends were not in that mental state
Yeah,
to try
no
to
one
do
was like
that.
mature enough to like we were all everybody was still children. Like we were all still kids. So I'm accidents happen. Things happen. Like you said, everything's for a purpose, and I feel like me and Tony, we have this little outlook here where we get to kind of come on and try to help people share their stories and get people out there. And I feel like who knows, maybe this
You
might
are.
be
I love it. I
Tony's
love
and I
it.
a little purpose. Yeah, no, I remember we were
Yeah.
talking
I,
about
I
you.
think it is.
Yeah, I
Sitting
think
tall?
so.
That's
Yeah, no,
amazing. Who
that's
came up with it?
I mean, I
That's
don't
your
want.
boy right there.
I can't take credit. It was my sister. It was my sister.
I mean, it still came from
Mm.
your end of it, so you
Yeah,
know what I mean.
still came from my gene pool.
The
All right.
logo, the album, the cover, literally everything about it. I showed my barber the other day, yesterday, because I
Really?
just got
Yeah.
a nice haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Got your little
yesterday,
fade, little fade.
yeah, I know. I brought him up. I showed him one of your episodes, and just how it. He instantly was like, if I saw this on my own and just scrolling down YouTube or Spotify or Instagram, it would stop me and draw my attention, and I would actually listen. So you got it
Yeah.
perfect down. It was good. It's great.
Ah,
You know.
you know, my sister came up with that, and then I forgot we had somebody came up with the logo, and I was like, I had an idea. I was talking to Tony. I was like, I wanted to do like our silhouettes, but I didn't really know how it would come out, and then I just gave that idea to the graphic designer, and bam, just yeah, because I was going through names, man. Like how you were talking about how you want to start a podcast yourself. Remember we were
That's been
talking
my
about
goal
that.
ever since. Yes.
It's hard. The name. We were talking about the name, and the name just when sitting tall just happened. Me and Tony just was like that. Just hit. That was it. That was. I didn't have to hear any other names
How
after
long did
that.
it
Was
take?
it took probably a couple months, right, Tony? Maybe a few, right?
I feel like if I have to be honest, like when I came into it, because me and him were going to do separate podcasts, and we actually came together through Hour, which is a thing we talk about all the time, which we always bring up. But when we talk about it, we was just kind of shooting like, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? And we pretty much were similar to what we wanted to come together and like talk about. So we're like, why don't we do this together? And once I joined up with him, he already hit me with the sitting tall, so he already had that in mind. So it might have took you a little bit.
Yeah,
I didn't even get in my 2 cents yet. I was just like, yo, sitting tall. I like it. I was like, let's go with it. You know what I mean?
I had that in the bag. I had that in the bag when we came up to the conversation. But nah, that took me that was some months. I went through some stupid names. Now I look back on it. I was like I can't believe I was gonna have my podcast. I was like, I can't believe I was gonna let that happen. That was gonna be bad. But yeah, but no, it all works out. Like I said, it'll hit.
I've been thinking about doing the podcast for a while. We're talking, but I wasn't, mentally, physically ready. I've been mentally, physically ready for the past 6 months. And so it's been 6 months. I've been thinking of names, and the best I got was Beyond the Breakdown.
Hey,
and
listen.
My mom said she didn't like it. So now that's out the window.
Like, it's out.
Wow.
Sometimes it takes a little brutal honesty from family, like my sister. You should see this conversation I had with my sister when I gave her some of the names. Like sometimes I would just get a straight no. Like it wasn't even like it wasn't even a debate. It wasn't even just Casey. No, I was like, all right, you're right. That's terrible.
All right.
I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. I'll go fuck myself. And I'm gonna go figure this out.
At least I got my because I'm also creating a brand, right? Mm-hmm. So at least I got my trademark name and my what it's gonna be called on my website, right? So I made my Instagram handle and if any of you want to follow, more than welcome. It's _FitQ_. So basically, what that represents is being fit mentally and physically in a smart way, not just going out doing a push-up or doing like 20 sets of something and doing these brain exercises but with no outcome. You gotta be consistent and stuff. So, and pushing your body over the limit or not doing enough. You gotta be smart about it. So that kind of coincides with Fit IQ. I think that came out pretty well. That took a while because before it was called Filthy Fitness.
Yeah,
it was Filthy Fitness for 6 years.
Yes, it was Filthy Fitness. You're right. That was it.
That was the boy me.
For the particular, for the particular brand that we're going for now, I don't think Filthy Fitness is gonna hold it up right now. People are gonna maybe think Filthy Fitness is about maybe something else.
Yep. And maybe a little different.
Yeah. And I realized that.
Hey, but listen,
later.
Like the Fit IQ, I think that's a great start. And like I told you, any questions you have about anything podcast related, or even anything related, we're always here. And I'm gonna send you the links that I got for my microphone. I got my little mic, and then headphone, all the equipment that somebody shared with me, and then hopefully
pass it on down.
You get that podcast going. You get that podcast going. Tony and I will come on as guests, bro, and get this thing going.
Hey, I'm not even. I know we've been on this for about an hour now. I have so much more to talk about with
Oh,
you guys.
listen,
I didn't even
we can
I
get a
didn't get
part
down
two.
to everything. Yeah,
We
we
can get
gotta
a
get to a part two.
we'll get a part two going in a couple weeks.
Yeah, there's
I'm
multiple
down
people
for
that we
that.
talked to that we are definitely going to set up another interview with because, yeah, you can't really get it all in 1 hour. And if
No,
it goes longer than an
Uh,
hour, then people kind of get bored with it, you know what I mean? So that's why
yeah,
yeah,
we'd like to break this up. So we'll definitely have you on again,
45
man.
oh,
I feel like,
yeah,
especially
hundred
once you get
percent.
that podcast going, we're going to have to talk about that too,
Oh,
you know?
and that's gonna be great. That's gonna be life
yeah,
changing, I think, for
because
everybody.
Yeah, man.
it's good to
Just got to
like
do it, right?
it's good to kind of break up the
Yeah,
story a
yeah,
little bit too. You know, and it's good to kind of break it up a little bit too, because like you've been through such a crazy ordeal in such a short amount of time. Like,
two
it
and a half
was
years, and
2.5 years
there's been no
and
stop.
it's been nonstop. So it's kind of good to kind of we got basically like the bottom layer of the cake right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we're building the foundation to
Yeah,
find out obviously you're still here, you know what I mean? So, it's all positive, but we get to know and then hear about your process. And bro,
yeah.
I'm
I mean,
excited to see
The
where you go
beginning.
next.
I'll kind of end on this, and for all you viewers out there, if you have experienced something similar, may not be our type of situation, but something similar to where you've lost everything. Like I lost all my savings. I lost my life basically of living normally.
Yeah.
For a while, and I'm still to this day not the person I was, but I think it has grown me. I've
Hmm.
experienced something that's going to make me stronger and help people. You know, I lost my fiance. I lost after that. I lost
Hmm.
my apartment because I couldn't pay for it. And all
Yeah.
because they say this COVID relief and I get any type of money
Hmm.
at all whatsoever. I'm still fighting for
Hmm.
disability. That I
Hmm.
literally couldn't do 7 activities of daily living, and I was still found not disabled. Um, I know you said it took you a while to get it too, right?
Yeah, it took me a while.
It's ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
I'm going through that struggle still. I lost my apartment. So I actually started living from Airbnb for 7 months until I
Yeah.
actually was homeless, walking around with a freaking oxygen machine.
Crazy.
Homeless.
Damn.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
couldn't have food to eat and nothing. Until I moved back to New York, and that's
Hmm.
when that happened. I was like, "Fuck, this is rock bottom." Like rock bottom. That's pretty much rock bottom because I had to go move out of Florida back to New York and actually recover and focus on
Yeah.
myself.
Hmm.
Not
Well,
just
want
try
to
and
know the
get
good
back
thing
into
about rock?
normal.
Want to know the
Yeah,
good thing about rock
it's the only
bottom?
way thing up. The only thing left is
It's only
up.
going up from there, man. That's right.
That's
And
it. Yeah.
that's how I look at life, bro. You know what I mean? Like we hit rock, like we all hit rock bottom, man. And like I say that to myself all the time. I've been there, so where I'm at now is so different from where I was, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
great to have that feeling. You know what I mean? Because like you need to humble yourself too. You know what I mean? Like get back to what you
it
love.
makes you
Don't you
appreciate
know?
the little things in life.
Man, it
Like
makes you appreciate everything, man.
I isolated myself. I didn't become social. I lost so many friends. Also, you realize who your true friends are when something like this happens.
Hmm.
I found out
100%.
I only have maybe 4 or 5 friends.
Yeah.
And I was
It's
Real
like,
true.
ones,
what the
like
It's
real
very
ones.
true.
Find out who the real ones are. You might have a lot of
The real
acquaintances
ones.
and a lot of
Hmm.
people who you're
conscious
friendly with
acquaintances when you
occasionally.
want to party, but
Friends, that's when you go through trauma, you go through something life changing. That's when you know who your real ride or die, or who your circle is.
and
100%, man.
unknowingly, I found out my barber in Florida was one of my real friends without knowing because he came to my house every 2 weeks and cut my hair for a year for free.
That bro, my barber
Dude,
when
my
I got
barber did
hurt,
the same thing,
same
yo. Yo, he
Really?
did this. Yeah, yo.
barbers are life.
Barbers are like,
My barber did the same shit
They're
too.
they're
Yeah,
yeah,
therapists,
dude.
man. Because you
they
tell me
really
it's
are.
not your barber about everything.
I talk
Yeah,
to my barber about more things than I talk to my therapist about.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
my barber, yeah, barbers are it's it's a underrated profession.
It's so true, though. It's so true.
That's crazy.
But
You guys are doing
Like,
the same thing. It's insane.
it's barbers. They're it's crazy.
well, you get a relationship with them because you
Yeah.
see them a lot. You know what I mean? And they take
It's
5
care of you
years
just
I
like
had with this
clockwork.
dude.
Yeah.
yeah. So you build a relationship with them, and like when they hear that their customer went through something, sometimes it's not just the customer, maybe it's like a good friendship. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, man, I really want to help this dude or whatever. And like that's how my barber did it with me. Like when I did have hair, I don't have hair anymore, but when I did have hair, he was all about like helping me out, man, coming through. He's like, yeah, man, you need a cut this week. I was like, yeah, man, if you want to come through. And he'd actually come to where I was and cut my hair. I didn't have to go to him, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
He came to
let me
my.
tell
He
you
drove
something.
to me, and he
Yeah.
found me once, like on too much medication, wandering in my lobby. That he literally canceled all his appointments, cleaned my entire apartment, and just sat with me, threw on some Lil Wayne, and just talked to me about what is going on.
Yeah. Barbers, man. My barber, I was going to him since I was 16 years old. I'm gonna cut this one short. But I got hurt. So I got hurt when I was 26, so that was already
Shout
10
out to
years of
JR.
yeah, right.
Okay, go.
Noel baby, Noel baby, I love you. And he came to the hospital where I was at and cut my hair in the hospital, and
No
that was
way.
just yeah, bro. And he didn't charge me for the whole time. Even after that, for the next like 7-8 years until he just retired recently, still didn't charge me anything. Like I appreciated that so much, but like I like going to the barber. Like that makes me. That's like one of my normal activities. I'm like, let me pay like a big boy, bro. Like let me pay like I'm a real boy. But he was like he just said that was his way of helping out and making sure I was good was him not
Just a little
charging.
thing,
It's just
just like that.
I appreciate that man so much because it's just stuff. Barbers are different, but we can go. I could talk about barbers all day. Before we end this short, I just wanted to say thank you, Chris, for coming on the show, and we're definitely going to get you back on to get that second part of the story. And I just wanted to give
Awesome.
a shout out to our sponsors, Seven Bros Apparel. We recently just opened up a storefront, so look out for the links, and everybody can buy your Sitting Tall merchandise. And so until next time, we're sitting tall. Have a good week, everybody.
We'll be seeing you, baby.
But thank you.